Joining us in the studio for this conversation is investment banker and development economist Nnaemeka Obiaraeri. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me give you a handshake. It's going to be a very heated conversation today because we're just talking about it during the newspaper review. And I love the fact that you said you are for Nigerians. I am for Nigerians as well. But I'll just give you a brief history. You know, we started with Dangote and Nnaemeka. Now we're in Dangote and Pingerson. You know, Pingerson had said you cannot just wake up, and it's even in the Constitution, section 34, that you cannot just wake up and sack 800 people and not bring in Nigerians, but you are bringing foreigners, Indians. And, you know, Festus Osifo, the president of Pingerson, has said that if you do not bring these people back, we will continue with the strike. Now, this is them having a 9 hours meeting, no resolution, nothing happened. At the end of the day, who suffers it? The common Nigerians.
Okay. First of all, Pingerson and Nnaemeka is in a better position to substantiate the allegations. The rumors around town that Dangote sacked 800 Nigerians and a whooping swoop employed 2,000 Indians. Yeah. It's not feasible, it's not possible. It's not possible for you to just sack 800 people today and the next day you've recruited 2,000 people from India. There are processes of bringing in expatriates into Nigeria. We also have local content policy and law to protect Nigerians from such actions. Now, where we are the Nnaemeka and Pingerson leadership, when Aliko Dangote employed 1,000 Nigerian engineers and sent them abroad to train them to man those refineries after completion. Where were they when he was borrowing money to set up the biggest single train refinery in Nigeria for $20 billion? Where were they for 18 years? Nigeria wasted $18 billion on turnaround maintenance program on the 3 refineries, Warri, Port Harcourt, and Kaduna. Members of Pingerson, members of Nnaemeka, we are drawing salaries and emolument of 120 billion naira every year on dead refineries. They were traveling on first class, business class around the world for training on nothing. They never demonstrated. They never protested. They never asked anybody to be held accountable for wasting billions upon billions of dollars year on year without a refinery working. If those refineries were their private business, they themselves would they sustain the workers even for 2 days? Yeah. And that is the question every Nigerian must ask concerning this imbroglio. The truth is, I am not a fan of monopoly. I am not a fan. If you go through the social media space on different television forums, I have argued on the fact for us to allow a free market economy where people can come in and freely exit. I'll give you an example of Brazil. 15.5 billion barrels crude reserve, 41% of our huge crude reserve in Nigeria. Petrobras does 3.7 million barrels of crude production every day. Petrobras does $121 billion annual turnover. $36 billion profit declared for their shareholders, $44 billion paid as royalties to the Brazilian government. Petrobras has 11 functioning refineries. In Brazil, they have 19 functioning refineries that do combined refinery of 2.4 million barrels a day. Why is NNPC not working? Why the Shell, who built the first refinery in 1995, refused to do any other single refinery in Nigeria till now? But in South Africa, where there is no crude oil, they have Shell, Total, Chevron has refineries that has combined refining capacity of 540,000 barrels a day. It's problem Dangote is facing. It's the problem they see, the inefficiencies, the corruption, this kind of unionist madness that have made them refuse to play in Nigeria. They are in Cote d'Ivoire, they are in Angola, they are in South Africa, but in the biggest market in Africa, they are not here. And it's because we've tolerated this over the years. Under normal circumstances, there is a contractual obligation between an employer and employee, which is documented and codified in employment letter. Yeah. If there was any reason for the workers to feel aggrieved, there are laid down institutional mechanism from either the industrial court or National Assembly or whatever to settle this matter. Aliko Dangote spent money to train this guy. If he had no intention of employing Nigerians, ab initio, he wouldn't have employed them, send them abroad to train them. And this is not the first business he has operated in Nigeria. I am an employer of labor, and I say this to everybody who cares to listen. Any employee that has value to add in any organization does not need for anybody to cajole him. Any employee who has value, employers protect, employers beg, employers do everything out of the ordinary to retain them. Because the truth is, it's like a footballer. You go to Real Madrid, you go to Barcelona, they do everything to return Ronaldo, everything to return Messi. But as long as you're not adding value, the employer will be ready to show you the way out of the door.
That's right.
Very fast.
On this particular matter, every right-thinking Nigerian, every sensible Nigerian should have to stand up and call Nupeng and Pengasan to order. Beyond the fact that we're talking about a $20 billion investment. Today we're seeing stability in the FX market. As at this morning, the naira had gained over the dollar about 1490. Hugely contributable to activities in Dangote refinery. Today, rather than spend $13–15 billion importing white petroleum products, we now spend a quarter of that because Dangote is functioning. We are not even earning forex, exporting urea, exporting aviation fuel. Dangote produces over 3 times, 4 times what we consume in aviation fuel. The same thing for diesel. We consume 9–10 million liters a day. Dangote produces 26 million liters a day, which is a huge contribution to this economy. And what we expect the federal government of Nigeria to do is to draw the big hammer. It's a time to call enough is enough.
That's right.
I am not a fan of Aliko Dangote. I am not a fan of Dangote refinery. I am a fan of Nigerian stability, a fan of Nigerian sustainability, a fan of the growth of the common man. What we should be thinking about here is how do we grow our crude output to 4 million barrels a day, so that we can meet our OPEC quota of 1.7 million barrels a day and encourage more refineries in Nigeria.